Illini, ESPN2, 11 a.m., second day of the new calendar year. That's Monday morning, January 2nd, 2023 at Raymond James Stadium in Tampa. Two pretty good defenses.
Yes.
Especially
Absolutely. And then
if you're talking about the defense that Mississippi State rolled out on the field in the final game of the regular season.
Yeah, that was the State's best defensive performance of the year, no questions asked. So can they build upon that? They should have a lot of momentum. Should have some excitement with all the guys coming back. We talked about it earlier with Arkansas, Kansas. I think it's just going to be an ugly football game. Low scoring, take the under if you decide to bet. Or Illinois, they play in a division that doesn't pass the ball very much. You're talking about a division, they play with Wisconsin and Iowa and Minnesota. Purdue throws the ball a good bit. I think Indiana throws the ball some. But for the most part, they don't face a lot of passing teams. But that said, if you look at their pass efficiency numbers, which is a good indicator of doesn't really matter how many times they throw it, this is what you're doing against the pass, they're very good. They're very good. They have a great running back. Chase Brown, I think is his name. He rushed for a ton of yards this year. So they're a good team. I expect it to be a very close football game. One I'd like to see Mississippi State, really take to heart because, like I said earlier, a 9-win season, a top 20 final ranking goes a long way, I think, with where this program is right now.
Illinois went 8-4 this year. They beat Wyoming in the opener and then lost in week 2 to what turned out to be a pretty bad Indiana team. I think Indiana finished 4-8. But then they went on a run, right? They beat Virginia, beat Chattanooga, beat Wisconsin on the road, beat Iowa 9-6. 9-6. Beat Minnesota, won at Nebraska. Then they lost 3 straight. They lost to Michigan State by 8. They lost by 7 to Purdue. And they lost by 2 at Michigan. And Brett Bielema, you remember, was none too happy with the officiating.
No.
And then they closed out the regular season on the road, beat Northwestern 41-3 to cap a 1-11 season for Northwestern. 8-4, finished
Champions
second in the
Europe.
Big Ten West. Say what?
Champions of Europe.
Mm-hmm. Indeed.
It's going to be an ugly football game. No, ugly's not the right word.
Yeah.
Points are going to be at a premium because, I made a joke last week about Illinois' offense being, terrible. And they are. It's hard to watch, honestly, at times. But they're legit defensively. And not legit for Illinois. Legit just for college football. Like you said, they went to Michigan and Ann Arbor and held Michigan in check for 4 quarters. Completely held Michigan in check for 4 quarters. Michigan turned around the next week and dominated Ohio State. Scored, 44 points? So that's a legitimately good defense going up against, obviously, a legitimately good defense in Mississippi State. Now, no Emmanuel Forbes, but again, passing offense from Illinois doesn't scare you at all. At all. You've seen 10 better passing offenses than Illinois this season. That might be a little hyperbolic, but you've seen a fair share of much, much better athletes at quarterback and at wide receiver and on the offensive line than what you're going to see from Illinois. So very winnable game, but going to be low scoring, kind of an ugly game.
I think it could be kind of similar to State's last trip to this bowl against Iowa, where State made enough mistakes that kept Iowa in the game. Iowa rushed for like negative 10 yards or something ridiculous in that game, but State just kept turning the ball over. If State plays pretty clean, I think, they can win this football game pretty easily. But if they don't, and at this point I don't trust State to play a completely clean game, then Illinois is going to be able to hang around. And defensively, they have a defense that can force mistakes and take advantage of them.
Yeah. Will Rogers got to play a clean game, right? You can't give it to Illinois.